Betty had on a black dress. You remember that night? And Connie and Miles and Margaret, all of that. And you all walked in, and my dad was standing there with my mom. And Betty and Raymond met everybody in the club. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. My dad leaned over to me and he went, "He's a good-looking gal with the black dress." And he had a good eye, you know. And I'll never forget it. And I said, "Well, that's Raymond's wife, Betty." He said, "It's over his head." It's like that. My dad he was really funny. I can still see you standing there. Magnificent. And those pictures you have up here were wonderful. I gotta tell you a couple of things about Raymond that are kind of funny. You know, I know he had sort of an adventurous upbringing with his brother, who he adored and loved dearly, and they were kind of destructive and mischievous and things like that. But I got to know Raymond through shipping and sailing and in the grain business, and I didn't do much in the grain business, but I was with a shipping company, and Raymond and I spent a lot of time together, and we spent a lot of time as shipmates on boats. And Raymond was probably the most anally retentive man I've ever known in my entire life. Everything had to be immaculate. Toilet paper had to roll from the top, yes, not from the back. Okay, it had to roll from the top, like this. Okay, it couldn't roll like that. When he went to the full-service gas station in Pensacola, and they would walk around the car, and they would look at him, and he would stand there, and they would wipe the windshield and everything, and then the guy would run around and put air, and Raymond would say, in that Buffalo accent, "Make sure that you put clean air in those tires." Okay? So I'm making notes about this, all growing, you know, sailing and having a lot of fun. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna get hooked. All of this is gonna come back and haunt Raymond someday. So I thought, we'll have a lot of fun. So, the what? Oh, I know he's gonna come back and get me. But guess what? I'm going to be running fast. You know, I bought the film rights to Raymond's life for $11. $9 for the video because he got a Best Supporting Actor in a short comedy role, black and white. And he knows this. But the funniest thing I'll never forget, as long as I live, Raymond is in Europe working on some, you know, trading business and so forth. And he's living at Lake Marina Towers over here. And I love the guy because he was so fastidious. He was a Marine, you know, and he was really, you know, and he was a sweet guy. He was a pussycat. And all this macho stuff was just, you know, it was a facade. You know, he was a pussycat. And he, you know, and he adored his kids, and he loved Betty, and he was just great. And of course, I had sold him a starboat one time. You know, and I'd won a lot of races with it. He buys it, he doesn't win any races with it. Okay. You know, I said, "Raymond, it's the magic that you put on the tiller." He says, "Don't go there." So he bought, but I gave him another cover to make him happy. But I'll never forget it. Raymond goes to Europe, and I think he was in Switzerland or somewhere. I don't remember. And he says, "I want you to watch my mail, and I want you to make sure that the apartment is okay, the condo is okay." So he arranges for me to have a key, and he tells security at the, you know, over here on Lake, what is it, Lake Avenue? Lake Marina, you know what I'm talking about. So I go over there and I get his mail and everything, and he had a Porsche at that time, a little wind-up car, a little Porsche. And it was like they only made 13 of them like this. See? We knew they made 494 of them, but Raymond said they only made 13, so we agreed it was 13. So we're all there, and so I thought, you know, he said, "Start it up because I don't want the battery to go bad and do all of this." I said, "Okay." So I had a key, and I tried to figure out a way where I could drive it everywhere, get the mileage up, because I know he wrote it down before he left. Okay, I tried to figure out a way, but I didn't want to drive it. You know, I tried to get the mileage. It had like 4,000 miles to it, but I couldn't do it. So what I did was, Raymond hated smoking. So first thing I do is I get in the Porsche, I smoke some Marlboro cigarettes, and then I flip them off, and I pull the ashtray out of the Porsche, and I leave them in the ashtray. Okay.
Oh,
the car
no.
smell like smoke, okay, because I didn't smoke in the car. But I leave them there. Second thing I do is I go up to the condo, and they had this big screen TV, and he had a chair, a couple of pictures of him sitting in the chair there, see? And they had this table, the phone was there, and his answer machine, and all this stuff. So I thought, I'm gonna have some fun here. So went out on the balcony, smoked some cigarettes and everything. Whipped them off and everything. Put them in the air, like 30 of them in the ashtray. Okay. All and I left the leg, you know, the thing that would swing out on the chair, I'd hit it up, you know. And then I went in and moved all of his towels in the bathroom. Took the drawers out of the bedside table and put it over on the other side. You know, I had to watch his Viagra, you know, and everything, so he couldn't find it. So I had all this stuff. Raymond called me, and the deal was I was going to pick him up at the airport when he got in. So I pick him up. How's it going? We're going to Ruthie's. Ruth's Chris. I got to go to Ruthie's. I got to get my battery shot. I don't want to go there. Where do you want to go? I said, well, maybe we could go to Crescent City. I don't want to go there. I said, well, I'll drop you off at Ruthie's and I'll go to Crescent City and I'll pick you up later and we can, you know, that'd be fun. Well, we ended up going to Crescent City. And we had a great dinner and everything. And so we go back up to the condo and Raymond walks in. He goes ballistic. The veins were popping out on his neck. I mean, he was going crazy. Goes into the bathroom. His razor was always perfect right there, sitting on top of a little thing. It was all moved and everything. The towels were all, don't ever use my blue towels. He had blue towels. Don't touch my blue towels. I had all those in the shower. And I mean, it was really funny. And that little thing you put your foot up on, you know, the little, you know, when you shave your legs. I don't shave my legs, but you know, when they shave their legs. You know, I put his best razor, one of those beautiful German razors. I had it sitting on there, you know, with a bar of soap. He went ballistic. So we get it all straightened out and everything, and the mail's all sorted, you know. So then, so funny, he says, I gotta get my messages. So he always had trouble with mechanical things, screwdrivers, dental floss, things like that. He was really bad. He goes over and he goes, nothing comes up. Nothing, okay? Now he's been gone 6 weeks, I think. It's a good while. Couldn't get it to work. The finger was sticking out, you know. You had a bad finger. Yeah, it was so funny. I said, let me look at that, Raymond. So, what do you do? I said, let me look at it. I said, I can't get it to work. I think it's broken. I don't have any messages. I said, well, you out of sight, out of mind, nobody loves you anymore. Take that thing out of it. He starts pulling wires and everything. Now, I'd written down every message that he had on a legal pad. Okay, chronologically by day. And I just left them on that little table in the living room. Okay. So, get that thing out of here. So I take it and I put it in the back of my Explorer. And then shortly thereafter, I get a divorce and I move into the place with the blue roof, a punch drink place and everything. Right. And Raymond comes out one day and he says, I had one of those damn cheap, they don't work worth a goddamn, you know, answer machines like that. Well, I just took his answer machine, brought it over to my place and used it. I said, how long have you had that? And I remember the date when he got back around. I said, I think I've had it such a. He said, that's when mine went to hell. I said, oh, Raymond. You got to have it. You probably didn't have it wired properly. But he never got over that. So I had a $260, you know, tape machine.
Spaceship for a whisper.
I mean, it was like, it was. NASA made it, I think.
Yeah,
I think NASA
yeah,
did.
you couldn't work that thing.
And then, what I used to love about Raymond was, he was so anally retentive. We'd be on the boat, and Raymond was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. He'd get a chamois. He'd wipe the top of the winches. You know, they were all stained. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. We were coming back from Pensacola. We were on the 200-mile race one time. And we're on, Dan Leon was with us. Dan was the chef de yacht, cooking red beans and rice with sausage. Oh, yeah. Never took his sailing gloves off the whole time. Tossed salads and everything. And we ate the sausage, and you forgot to cook it. You remember?
Everybody got sick.
Everybody was sick.
Each whitlock told me to mix it with my gloves. The sea salt was going to help.
Well, let me tell you, let me tell you the best one. So we're going along, and the guys lined up. We were on Run Runner. Were we on Run Runner? Run Runner. Yeah, we're going in beautiful. Remember? It was fun. Dan's down there cooking and everything. We got red beans. It was a gorgeous day. Because I knew we were right outside the Gulf Coast. So I went down and took a shower and shaved. You know, I wanted to be ready to get to the club. And Raymond's navigating. And he's sitting at the nav station, and he's got everything on the nav table, charts, his calipers, his big gum rubber eraser. He's got his stopwatch.
And a Snickers bars.
And he's got, yeah, and he's got everything. I mean,
So
it's
those
like
were
unbelievable.
under the nav.
And you think you're going to NASA, okay, with this thing. And he's sitting there, and he says, I smell hydraulic fluid, which was right, the reservoir was right over his shoulder. He said, Raymond, just concentrate. Don't worry about the fluid. And Dan's in there cooking, you remember? And I still see this. We're going down, and all of a sudden, we run aground. And we buried, we had the spinnaker up. And remember, the pulpit went under the water. And all we hear is Raymond. What the heck, with this Buffalo, New York accent, okay? Jay, I can't find my gum eraser and my calipers. He's wearing his ballpoint pen and his eraser and everything. You know, because it was his fault we ran aground, see? So I go down below, and Raymond is our navigator, and he's down in the bottom of the boat. There's a magnificent boat. He's looking around. He can't find anything. I said, Raymond, your problem is that you were derelict in your duty. I said, I don't want to hurt your feelings anymore. He says, look at me, he went, it's the Bud's fault. Buddy, he wasn't on course. But we finished, and we did very well, if you recall.
And no one got sick.
And no one got sick. A couple of guys had a little bit of a problem. I had a minor problem.
They deserve
But
it.
I'll never forget it. We get back to the yacht club in Gulfport, and Raymond says, you know, it's really hard to find those gum erasers, you know, the square that you used to have when you were a kid. It's really hard to find. But he was so funny. He had a Porsche. He only made not too many of them. They really didn't make too many of these cars. They were really illegal, okay? And the guy from Detroit bought it. What was his name? Woody.
He bought it from Willard Sparks.
Yeah, from Sparks.
But then Woody bought it.
The guy
Sold
was
it to Woody, yeah.
yeah, sold it to Woody. And Raymond was really, you know, just overwhelmed by cars. You know, I said, Raymond, you know, chicks don't like cars like this because they're hard to get in and out of. Okay? I said, you know, they're not cool like that. And it drove him crazy. He had a Corvette, you know, he had a date with a girl one time, she couldn't get out of it. Okay? But I mean, it was so, she was older. You know? But it was really funny. So we're in the Porsche one day, and I thought, I gotta get even with him. Gotta get even. So I went and got an Arctic ice bag. You remember Arctic ice that we used to buy? With the little thing on the top, you know, with the little wire thing. And I got it, and I took it out, and I left it in the garage for like a week. It had all drained down, and it dried out and everything. Everything was cool. So I didn't want to mess up the car. Raymond goes out of town, and I have a key to the car. Shelby, I think he might have too. I go over and I put it right behind the back seat, the seat in the car. This empty, dehydrated Arctic ice bag. Raymond didn't even get home before he called me. He said, you're one of the most irresponsible people I've ever known in my entire life. You know, and I mean, he was like, you know, the veins, you know how the veins, you know, I can still see him. And I thought, not him again. But it was so funny. Tell you another thing, too. And I love the guy. I really love the guy. And he was, I've known him since that first night you walked in here. And we were good boys and we were bad boys, but I always loved him. And we had a lot of fun. And we had a lot of inside stuff, some of which I'm not going to share here, but it was fun.
A lot of good talk.
And I can remember his 80th birthday over in,
Captain's table.
remember that?
I sure do.
And everybody's there. Connie, Kelly, everybody was. Remember how much fun that was?
Yeah, that was a load of fun.
So I said, I got to get hold of Raymond, see. And Raymond was like, you know, don't step on my turf, you know. So I went and got one of these big jars that they put pills in, those orange kind of jars, you know, that they put prescriptions in. And I got the gal at Walgreens on St. Charles Avenue to make a label. And it was 100 milligram Viagra, okay? And it was like 250 tablets, okay? Good for a weekend, okay? And so I get them all there, and then I have a thing made that said the Royal Order of the Viagrans. And the president of the Order of the Viagrans, his name was Hardy All Day, okay? And so I have this thing, and I mean, Connie, you remember Connie said, oh my God. You know, oh my God. I can still see, and we're sitting there, and when you looked at him in this jar that was like this big around, and it looked like marmalade, man. Raymond says, that cheap son of a bitch, he would never buy this many Viagras. I said, Raymond, you know about Viagra? Like that. And he got a big kick out of it. So I give them to him, and about 2 weeks later, he calls me, and he says, these things are very minty. They were breath tablets. They're very minty. I said, well, they came from Switzerland. And I had him going, they're very minty. They were breath mints, okay?